Sharingan.
Yo, what's going on? It's that boy Fred. Welcome back to another video. Now in today's video, we're going to be doing another versus battle video back on the channel. We got Minato Namikaze versus the 6 Paths of Pain, as you can see by the thumbnail and the title. Now, of course, a lot of people find this versus battle very interesting, including myself. Trying to see where Minato will stack up against someone who's wielding the Rinnegan, how Pain will stack up against someone who's as fast and as intelligent as Minato. So we're going to get right into all that in this video. But before we get into it, if you're new to the channel or have been watching for quite some time and haven't subscribed, I would really appreciate if you can go down there, hit the subscribe button, and while you're down there, hit the like button so we can hit our next goal, which is 200 subs. It will truly mean a lot to me. But with all the little talk out the way, let's get straight into the video. Now, to start off the video, I think it's, better if I just do what I tend to always do in these versus battles, get the little details out the way, and then we'll eventually figure out and talk about how this fight will play off. So, we'll talk about things like intelligence, speed, and anything else that would really help affect the fight, including like even the area that would affect the fight, which is very important later on. But, we'll start off with just the simple stuff like speed. As we all know, Minato is one of the fastest shinobi to ever live. And that is, of course, going to be a huge problem for Pain because being one of the fastest shinobi to ever live, you have to have amazing reaction time and, of course, just amazing speed all around. And with Pain, they're not slow, but they're definitely not Minato speed, if you get what I'm saying. Like, of course, they were on par to keep up with a Sage Mode Naruto, who was not as fast as even base Minato. And the Raikage was basing Minato's speed off of when he seen him back when he was a Jonin before he's even Hokage. And so we can't even tell if Minato got faster after that. And KCM1 Naruto was just barely able to get past the Raikage. And that's roughly around the time that Naruto was able to get on that level and that speed of what the Raikage remembers of Minato. So that just gives you a little idea of, how fast Minato really is. And so the Pains are more so on that lower tier of Sage Mode Naruto level when it comes to speed wise, at least. And speaking on Sage Mode Naruto, if you want to compare Sage Mode Naruto and Minato somewhere to each other, you can honestly the easiest way to say it is that base Minato is just a stronger version of Sage and Naruto. And, I'll talk about Sage Minato later on. I don't think I need to touch on KCM1 Minato. I think everyone knows how that's going to go. But yeah, so we'll touch on basically just about some power right now. We'll go in, with the Rasengan's, and Minato has the Flying Raijin in his arsenal. He's a master of the shadow clones, and Pain, we have all the different paths. We have the human path, which can suck out your soul. We have the Naraka path that can restore damage being done to any other Pain. We have the Ashra path, who has all the weapons. The Praetor path, who can absorb. The Animal path, who can use summon. And we have the Diva path, who can use, of course, the big almighty pushes, almighty pulls, Shinra Tenseis, Chibaku Tensei, all that. So they both have really, versatile arsenals. Pain, of course, has a more versatile arsenal than Minato does. But that still doesn't change the fight, by a long shot. It definitely does give him a slight advantage just having more. But, Minato being as fast as he is, stuff will start to play in a tad bit later. Now, I want to touch on more so intelligence and then the area this fight takes place in, because it really does matter. Now, we're going to touch on area first because depending on where this fight takes place at, it could change drastically. Because if this fight takes place in the Rain Village, it's safe to say that both fighters will go in there pretty dull on each other. Like they really won't know what each other are capable of, because Minato won't know too much about this Akatsuki member, and well, that's if to say they even know who each other are. Let's just say they do, but that would defeat the purpose. Let's say they don't know much about each other. Pain might have heard of Minato's name being the Yellow Flash. He's world renowned, so he might have heard that much, but Minato knows nothing about him. If Minato goes to the Rain Village for some reason, Pain's not going to know nothing about him either, because he's not going to expect him to show up. So he's not going to have any sort of knowledge that he needs to have on the top of his head about Minato. And Minato, like I said, is going to be very dull on Pain as well. And so if they go in that fight blind, both of them like that, then the fight is going to be, a tad bit different than what it would be in the Leaf. Because also, with Pain being lacked in knowledge of Minato, it makes up for it because he will be stronger since he's closer to Nagato and he's able to get more chakra. But if the fight was to take place in the Leaf, you could roughly say that for Pain lacking in the power that he's losing from not being as close to Nagato, he gains just a tad bit of knowledge on Minato, because there would be no reason to not believe that Obito wasn't the one who sent Pain to the Leaf Village to begin with. As we know, Obito was the higher up anyway, so he made all the big boy orders. And so, Obito, knowing of Minato and knowing how strong he is, he would of course warn Pain that this guy's the Yellow Flash. He might give him a few pointers on what he remember. Just, it would be a little bit odd for Obito's character, but like I said, Minato's a world-renowned shinobi, so most people would know that Yellow Flash of the Leaf, he would give him those little bitty pointers. So Pain would at least know going into the Leaf Village that he's fast or he teleports or something along those lines. Now, with that little stuff out of the way, those are just the quickest details we can get out, so we can get straight into how this fight will start to play out. Now, personally, I do believe that this fight is it's a strange one. It truly is, because in the beginning, if I'm gonna say in the beginning, let's base off the Rain Village first. In the beginning of the Rain Village fight, it's gonna be kind of a stalemate. It's kind of gonna be a little cat and mouse type fight in the beginning, because, like I said, both of them are going in there, lacking of knowledge of each other. So then, it's kind of just going to be a test and going to just be them both moving around, showing what each other can do. And, since Pain is also in the Leaf, not in the Leaf Village, but he's in the Rain Village, he's not going to be able to use anything like Almighty Push or even Chibaku Tensei, because that would destroy the Rain Village, and he doesn't want to do that. So even though he wouldn't use nothing like that in the Rain Village, I don't think it would hit Minato anyways, and I think most people would agree neither one of those would really hit Minato, especially if he's going to use the huge Almighty Push that he used to destroy the Leaf Village. That would never touch Minato, because once Minato sees him go up and tries to, amount all this chakra and release it into the Almighty Push, he would have probably been to move out the way already. And same for Chibaku Tensei. He sees him shoot up that gravity orb into the air, he's going to get out of the way somehow. And so, yes, in the Rain Village, it's kind of going to be a stalemate for a little bit. But then eventually, I feel that Pain's going to start to, he's going to start to get a feel on Minato's speed. And, one way I feel that Pain might be able to throw off Minato's speed with his kunais is, honestly, if he could either use an Almighty Push or Almighty Pull to, disrupt where the kunais are being thrown at. I feel like that's a nice way for him to disrupt Minato's movement, because Pain's going to know very quickly that he cannot keep up with Minato. And so once he figures that out, he's going to, eventually realize that it's these kunais that are his main speed. And since all 6 paths share the same field of vision, as long as one of them can look at where Minato is going, or keep an eye on a kunai, then, they'll relatively be able to keep up with where he's going. Now, them reacting to him and stopping him from coming towards them is two totally different things. Because I am a firm believer that whatever they throw at Minato, his reaction speed is like top notch. He was able to dodge a Raikage punch that was like point blank at his nose. And that was easy for him from the looks of it. So, yeah, in the Rain Village, I feel like it's going to continuously just go on until Minato finds a way and to, make all the Pains exploit all their abilities. Once he does that and Minato can stall enough time, because roughly Minato's not really going to get hit by very many of Pain's attacks. I feel that they're just not going to, and if they do manage to hit him, I feel like just like how Obito hit him with Kamui, he'll probably be able to get out of the way in some way or form. So it's like none of them are probably going to do any significant damage to him. And I feel like that's why Minato, as long as he can stall enough time to see all the Pain's ability, he'll eventually come out with the win in the Rain Village, because he was able to stall enough time. And once Minato figures out all those Pain's ability, it's pretty much a GG. Like, it's really nothing the Pains can do, because none of them have the reaction time to react to him if he decides to straight up speed blitz them. Because even Naruto was able to speed blitz a Pain or two. So yeah, it's no reason for me not to believe that Minato can't do the same. And in the Leaf Village, it sadly doesn't really change too much for Pain. If anything, it kind of gets a little bit worse, because now that he's a tad bit weaker, granted, he knows that Minato's really fast and he's not going to get caught off guard as much as he would in the Rain Village. It doesn't really matter, because now Minato has so many more kunais all over the place that it's ridiculous. So no matter what Pain throws at him, Minato, no question in my mind, has an escape route. So it's just going to be like, it's not really going to make much of a difference in that situation either. Minato can once again do the same thing he did in the Rain Village. He can stall around time, use some shadow clones to, try and get close to the Pains to make them use as many abilities as he can. And also, if Pain decided to use Chibaku Tensei in the Leaf Village like he did against Naruto, and he didn't wait for the other Pains to be defeated like he did the first time, Minato's gonna easily take that dub, because he's gonna do exactly what I said earlier. He's gonna move out of the way, and then he's gonna come back, and while all the other Pains except for the Diva Path are lacking because Nagato had to force so much chakra into the Diva Path, he's gonna end up taking out all those other Pains. Whether it's with the Rasengans or it's just cutting their heads off altogether with his kunais. So yeah, I said I was gonna touch on Sage Mode, but if base Minato was doing all that, I would hope you guys understand what Sage Mode is doing. And for the people who was like, well, what about the Animal Path? Minato, being a sage, he can summon Gamabunta. He probably can summon multiple Toads as well. It's probably not too far-fetched to believe that neither. Minato Pain is not the, let me say, Minato is not the best opponent for someone like Pain. He's definitely, Pain has his number, but Minato, that number doesn't really matter to a guy like him who's that fast, and is just that versatile when it comes to speed and his use of the Shadow Clone and his quickness with the Rasengan and his just speed altogether. So that's probably gonna wrap up this video right here. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and if you make it to the end, you might as well go down there and drop a versus battle in the comment section. I'd love to see you guys' opinions, and I'll see you guys in the next video.